Hi, everyone, and welcome to our second Women Leading Startups Fireside Chat this semester. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Naya Abdelgaber, a political science student at Memorial University, one of the universities participating in this semester's Net Workshop series. I'm very happy to see you all joining us today, and I'm glad to be your student host for today's Fireside Chat. This semester, we have one remaining Women Leading Startups Fireside Chat after today. Each chat features a different female identifying startup founder from Canada. This event is open to all female identifying students who will want to be part of a supportive virtual community for entrepreneurial women. Check out the link in the chat to sign up below. We are also hosting 2 more net workshops this semester, and these are designed to be an introduction to startup creation. Our next net workshop is Take on Tech, and it's on Thursday, November 5th. You can choose to talk about one of the 3 topics available, and which are the basics of artificial intelligence, how to build a website, or tools and resources for working with a virtual team. The link to the sign up is also in the chat. The Net Workshop series and Fireside Chats are a partnership between 7 Atlantic Canadian universities that include St. Mary's University, Memorial University of Newfoundland, Dalhousie, University of New Brunswick, Cape Breton, and Mount St. Vincent University and University of Prince Edward Island, including their Egypt campus, which is my homeland, so I'd like to give them a special shout out. أهلا بكم النهاردة لو كنتم مشاركينا من مصر. أنا مبسوطة جدا إن أنتم معانا. Coming up this semester, now is time to kick off the chat today. For today's net workshop, we have partnered with Canadian Ecosystem Gathering, which is a community that aims to nurture collaboration between Canadian innovation ecosystems. Our special guest today is Gabrielle Larue. When she's not on stage rocking with her band, Gabrielle works behind the scenes of large-scale festivals as a producer specializing in logistics. This experience has made her very aware of the lack of customer satisfaction on site during the festivals when it comes to both comfort and peace of mind. With that in mind, she started LuckyGo. LuckyGo's mission is to improve logistics for deliveries and temporary personal storage. It offers secure, contactless, and automated holding spaces for parcels, sold goods, and personal items. LuckyGo is your space at any place. Now I would like to welcome to stage Amélie Array, facilitator and coordinator of Canadian Ecosystem Gathering. She will speak a little bit about CEG, what they do, and she'll moderate today's chat with Gabrielle. After the chat, I'll hop back on for a while and I'll give a quick crash course on the networking of today's event. With that being said, welcome Amélie to stage.
Hello, Anaya. I'm sorry about that. Hi, nice to see you today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. So in the first place, I'd like to thank all the 7 University of the Atlantic that have decided to collaborate toward this initiative. I'm really proud to be here today. I am working for Mangrove. It's a non-for-profit in charge of the Canadian Ecosystem Gathering. As Anaya mentioned, it is a community-based initiative, and what we basically do is that we provide the ecosystem actors, so entrepreneurs, representative from corporate universities, incubator, accelerator, and other stakeholders. We provide them a space for collaborative working session, and we really facilitate the rise of structuring project in favor of the community economic development throughout Canada through human relationships and collective intelligence. So check out we'll put a link in the chat because we have upcoming events. It's a series about equity, diversity, and inclusion. The first event will take place next week on October 28th. It's a free event, and we'll look at talent, attraction, and intention and retention. Sorry about that. Through the lens of ED&I. So today, I am pleased to welcome Gabrielle Larue. We'll have a little bit of a moment together. Bonjour, Gabrielle.
Hey.
So Gabrielle Larue, CEO, founder of LuckyGo, as Anaya was introducing a little bit of your project. I'm happy to be here with you today. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
My pleasure. Thanks for
I want
inviting me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I want to start by, we want to explore the audience's interest and curiosity. So I'm talking to you, all the students, the participants. We want to know, what do you guys want to talk about today? We want to know if you have any specific question you'd like to ask to Gabrielle about her journey or expertise or challenges, or are there any major concern for which you'd like to have an advice from Gabrielle's experience? Do you want to share about a challenge or events or element that you're apprehending in your journey as an entrepreneur, or looking forward to it? So please paste your question. It could even be a word, a mood. Paste it in the chat so we can actually have a sense of what you guys are thinking about, what you want to hear. Any question, any comments are really welcome. Would really appreciate it. So welcome, Gabrielle, once again. I want to begin with presenting your pitch in front of 1,200 person when you were part of the Founder Fuel cohort in 2018. So are you ready?
I don't know. I haven't seen that in a while. Go
In
ahead.
a while? Okay, so we'll take a look at it at the first minute of your pitch in 2018.
Good.
30 years ago, the average person carried a wallet and a credit card. Today, we carry valuables that are worth thousands of dollars on us. Not only are they expensive, but they're deeply personal and full of sensitive information. But all this stuff, it holds us back when we want to enjoy ourselves worry-free. So far, we have two options. Wait forever in line for a coat check, or tough it out and carry our stuff on us all day. But what if there was a third option? My name is Gabrielle Larue. I am the CEO and founder of LuckyGo, and we have created that third option, a brand new approach to temporary storage. Our journey began in the intense environment of the music festival scenes. The event industry has been my passion and my profession for the past 10 years. I've seen and played 1,000 shows, produced dozens of events, including large-scale festivals. And throughout all these experiences, I noticed one very large recurring problem. Event-goers never knew what to do with their stuff. They soldiered on all day with their heavy bags or waited at coat check missing their favorite artist. I even saw people hide their bags in bushes. And this made me realize there was an amazing business opportunity there. Over the past 2 years, we built this incredible company that I'm so proud to share with you today. LuckyGo provides on-demand, secure lockers to event-goers while they attend public gatherings. Bootstrapped from the ground up, we created a turnkey locker rental solution that has generated $300,000 in revenues, has served 7,000 individual customers, and is partnering with top-tier event promoters such as Evenco, C2 Montreal, and the International Jazz Fest.
You didn't know when would end it, eh? It's quite a pitch. Yeah, well, you're probably criticizing yourself way worse than we can. So, like we mentioned it before, you're part of a band. You're comfortable on stage, but how do you make a good pitch? How did you learn how to pitch?
Well, I think I always been naturally enthusiastic talking about my business, but it's really when we got in Founder Fuel, which is an accelerator in Montreal, that they really drilled us on how to deliver a good pitch, like 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, an hour and a half pitch. So that's when you kind of learn the formula. Like there's a formula, like there's a pace. It's just like writing a song, So that's when I really learned how to do it properly.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned it in your pitch. You used to work on logistic on different major events. So your professional history and your experience really inspired you toward your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
I have plenty I want to say about this, but we do have a first question, and I think it's interesting because you were working in logistics. I remember you mentioned to me that one of the reasons that you started your business was mainly because you had good ideas, but doing what you were doing, it seemed like nobody would hear about it. Or get them in place. There's so, like, we have a student asking, there are so many who say a business idea will not work. So how do you navigate these naysayers and their negativity when you're starting a business? Sorry for my reading skills.
All good. I don't know. Well, it's how can I say? I don't really care. I think that, and I think that's kind of I don't know why I started it. It's just it was easy for me to know it was gonna work because I saw it. Like I saw it every day at festivals, people not knowing what to do with their stuff. So I think it's not I feel people who say like it's not gonna work or you're crazy are people who are just not entrepreneurs. Like they don't like risk. Like I love risk. I love it. Like I love when it's unstable. You know?
Yeah. So it's kind of like the lack of vision. So the answer is that I guess what I understand from the answer you'd say is that stick to your vision. If you can see it, that means it can happen.
Yeah, exactly. And after that, like make sure you have a good team. Like you have people helping you, and don't be afraid to reach out. I think that's the key to starting a business. And don't be afraid to like ask people and ask a lot of questions and the tough ones. So that's just more knowledge for you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an interesting thing. So I just want to come back to like, why are you doing this? Because we mentioned that you worked in the event, you saw some element going, but why are you taking the pace? Like, why is it that you want to take the steps and say, I'm going to take some risk? You mentioned that you like unbalance and challenges and stuff, but still there's a lot at risk, and it becomes, since what, 2016, LuckyGo became all of your life. Is it prior to that or around that date?
Yeah. It became who I am at some point, which is a bit terrifying. but no, I don't know. I love challenges. I love to build stuff that I know that can get me to a better place in my life. So I was really, I don't know. I was really not happy having a boss, like, because I felt like I had something to say and something I wanted to do, and it was hard to do it through the context I was in. So I like risk, but I like calculated risk. So I took 2 years before I started LuckyGo to prepare this. So I found a partner. Like, it was important for me to find a partner, so I found one. After that, I put some money aside. I talked to my parents, like, if it doesn't work, like, are you gonna help me? And blah, blah, blah. Well, I knew the answer, it was yes, but and I got a bit of money up front before I even build my first deck, And after that, I didn't just build the lockers and spend thousands of dollars and be like, you want this? I went to see the clients and said, do you want this? And I knew the timing. I knew that festivals will sign suppliers between January and March. So, it was a question of timing, being sure that I had what I needed in the back to actually do it. So I met suppliers. I met like people who could build the lockers, And when I pitched to Evenco for Oshiaga, well, I was ready to press play if they said yes. So that's kind of how I did it at the beginning.
Oh, that's interesting. I have a question in that sense. Another attendee is asking. It's pretty much it's pretty close to the elements that you mentioned. But she's asking. She wants to be an entrepreneur in the future. She has an idea, and she says, "But I don't know the first logical steps to get started." And she asked, "Did you start the business with a business plan. You mentioned securing. She's asking if you secure. If you started with securing fundings, securing the tech for the product. So I know you vaguely went through the step, but do you want to go a little closer towards the first step that you took toward actually making your dream happen?
Yeah. I think it's different if it's your first or your second or third business, for sure. For me, it was my first one. So I knew nothing at all. And like I said, I like risk that's calculated. So I went to do a class, like an entrepreneur class. It was 3 months, was 2 nights a week. And I built a business plan. So building a business plan is kind of the joke. Like once it's done, you're never going to use it again. It's not true. It's not true, but it's kind of true. So I think that you're going to need it to go get some funding and convince people to get on board. But you're also going to need it to answer all the questions that everybody's going to ask you every day. So you need to build your business based on data and research and a real problem. So these are the first things you need to figure out. So I'm not a tech person. I don't come from the tech world. Now I run a tech company, but it's kind of, I don't know, it just happened because I wanted to increase margins and reduce my costs. Like, that's why we did that product at the beginning, the smart lockers. But at the beginning, like for 3 years, my lockers were literally wood lockers with locks and an e-commerce platform to reserve. Like it was not connected. So I had, my costs were super high, but we still managed to make some profit at the beginning. But so for me, and well, I think for everybody, you need an MVP. Like you need a first shitty tape
minimum
viable product to like. Who cares? Like people don't care as much as you think about how good is your product but who you need to find at the beginning are early adopters. Like don't go knock at the biggest client at the beginning. And I'm saying that, and by the way, my first client was LuckyGo, which is the biggest, so I'm kind of talking out of my ass, right? But it's because I worked there and I had a relationship with them for 4 years and they were trusting me. So if you have someone like that, that's kind of a client that is going to forgive you and is down to do a pilot, that's the best way to do it. So you can build a solution with them. So at the beginning, it's terrifying to go find clients, but if you don't find clients, don't start a business. Like because it's kind of the first step for me. Find a client.
Yeah. Was that because you mentioned that you found a partner? Founding a partner was a part of your first steps. Was LuckyGo your first partner, or did you have how did you? I have a question coming in asking how did you find your business partner?
So I was so obsessed about the lockers. Like let's say the first year before, I was like, this is gonna work. Like it's gonna work. I need to do this. So I just talked about it all the time. And at some point, she was my employee at Evenco. Okay. I convinced her to get on board with me and to start the company, but we were gonna keep our job at Evenco. That's gonna be our sideline,
Yeah.
So she joined. She did the class with me, the 3 months, and at the end, she said, "I'm out."
So you found a partner, but it wasn't quite a long-term partner.
But you know what? Who cares? Because in that class, I met my partner, Catherine. Okay, so I met another partner in the class, and Catherine joined just a few months after, because she remembered the idea and she was like, "This is gonna work." And she was there to start her own longboard for girl classes, which she kept, and we just met. So I think I think what I meant by I need a partner was I need the kick to actually start it, and that for me was the kick. Mm-hmm. It was like, I'm not gonna be alone, complaining about everything that's not working. I'm gonna have someone to talk to. Mm-hmm. For me, that was more it, because I knew I could do it alone. I knew, but I don't recommend doing it alone, by the way. It's really hard. Don't,
Yeah.
if you can have one, find a business partner or two, and
I
make sure
have
that they don't know what you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I have two questions coming in. You mentioned the MVP, prototyping, having a sense how it was wood in the first place, and then now like it ran a long way from the initial version of the LuckyGo. How do you establish a fair and realistic compensation for the package, the structure for your initial team? There's a revenue, so they can commit time and pay their bills.
Yeah. Okay. So at the beginning, we were not paid. Kat and I were not paid, and we were trying to get some grants and prizes. So when we got those prizes, we decided, are we giving each other some cash to survive for the next month, or are we putting it in the company? And Kat and I kept some contracts on the side. So she worked part-time for PAP. I did I did South by Southwest. So I had like some money coming in from time to time. But yeah, our first employees, it took a long time before we had employees. First year we had volunteers for every festival, and they were all my friends. But the deal was, you come work half a day, and then you go see shows.
Okay,
It
training
was
for
not that bad. Yeah. So it's when we started to do the tech. Now we needed tech people. That's when we decided to go raise money.
Because initially it was people managing the locker and access to the lockers, and then it became technology related.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So at the beginning, we could kind of make mini budgets per event. So I could pay my staff with the revenues. But when we decided to build new products and we were not tech, so that's why I said, like, if I had a tech partner, that person would have built the tech. So I wouldn't have to go raise money early. There's two ways to do it.
Okay. I have a question here. Are there, like in your site, are there any unique challenges that you think you faced because you're a female?
I'm gonna be straight up honest here. It has always been an advantage for me in pretty much everything I do. So I don't know. I've been raised with boys. I'm one of the boys, like maybe in bands. So it's like, I don't know. For me, it's easy to talk to guys and to like tell them, whatever I need to tell them. So especially in the entrepreneur world, because we were two female partners and we were always the only female, we kind of stand out. And because we had traction and clients, and it was actually working, and of course we were in a sexy industry, we were in the event industry, so kind of fit the brand, but we got so much press and so much prizes and grants and blah 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 because of that, that we just turned it into an advantage to onboard team members, because they were like, oh, this looks fun, so we really just flipped it around, and we were super honest about our strengths and weaknesses. So the joke when we were at Santec, it's like, we don't know shit about tech. That's why we're here. And people just laughed because they were like, these girls have balls, they don't care. They're going to figure it out. And I think that's kind of the attitude we had. And no, honestly, it's still an advantage for me. It depends on your mindset, like the way you see it. If you believe in what you do and you're strong and you're like.
And I think I have to highlight the fact that, when you were young, you wanted to be part of a band, do rock and roll. You still do this. I think you do have like a strong personality. You do have like this superpower of like persuasive force. And so I think that's a superpower that kind of, that shines in any aspect of your business trajectory. Sorry, I'm using intense word to say in English.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're kind of fearless. It seems like you can go over anything, but it also seems like as long as you're with like the good partners.
Yeah, and as long as you're well prepared. Once again, like I don't go in a pitch without practicing a million times. Like I don't talk about something I don't know. I don't. So I do my homework. I surround myself with smarter people than me, and I absorb and I listen. What you see is just me representing everybody that's behind me. So that's why I'm so confident, is because the people behind me are fucking smart. So that's kind of why I'm so confident. Is just I know what I don't know. We're well prepared. That's what I mean. So that's going to be really important to not get caught, and not saying something like I'm not sure.
So you mentioned like there was pivoting. They're going to soon be the Q&A, so still questions that can be coming in. So we can address the question that the participant have before the networking session. You pivot, like there was a change already in the technology prior to the COVID, but like I've seen you in the last few months a lot in many articles, and especially highlighting the force that you took, that your business took as a pivot. Do you want to give us a bit of a hint of what it was? We have a sense where it went, what happened, whatever you want to say about it. We'd like to hear it.
Yeah. Well, once again, I think that's the theme of this talk. I didn't think about it, but we were really well prepared to do that. We started looking into that pivot a year ago, way before COVID, because my job is always to look at what's coming and find new opportunities while staying focused. But I did a lot of meetings with carriers. So the pivot that we did, we went from the event industry, so providing lockers to Oshiaga and all that stuff, to providing lockers to permanent installations like Bell Center, venues, concert venues. And after that, what we were going to do is provide these lockers for everything that's parcel management. So put lockers in buildings, put lockers in cities, and people can return or pick up their parcels through the lockers. So by the way, that's been the big vision, like your space any place. That's kind of the big vision of the company.
Yeah, totally.
You have your smart box anywhere, you can do whatever you want with it. So we were well prepared. We had partners that like wanted to do it, like carriers and stuff like that, and COVID just accelerated and totally shut down the event market. So for us, it was so obvious that the time was now. So we just did it. And after that, well, we didn't just did it. It was a lot of work. Like we need to tweak the text, figure out the financing, not lose our minds. There was a lot to do, but it didn't, we didn't just decide it, what we're gonna do. Let's do this thing.
No, but I have this question that, knowing that you needed people who knew stuff in tech, despite of you having little knowledge of tech, just, rather than, why did you, like they ask you why start such a LuckyGo or like pivot toward that sense, rather than starting a business in a field that you're specialized in?
Well, now I know more about tech for sure, because I listen a lot to what my CTO is saying. But yeah, I don't know. I think I think it's better if you start something in something for sure. It's going to give you credibility with investors. At the beginning, that's kind of what you have. It's just your personality, your team, and your vision. So, but if I have tons of other business ideas, and I'm like, I don't know anything about that. But can you see how to get there? I think if you can, then you know who to surround yourself with, and I think you can definitely do it if it's not in your field. If you understand how to build it, then you'll know what to go get. And that doesn't happen overnight. It happens if you pick up the phone and you call like 100 people that have done it and just ask how they did it and take notes.
It's pretty much like wanting to be like a mechanics, or you don't know how to do it, but there's a path this path is trailed, but there's still a path that you can follow or that you can draw towards which you're going to go through. Also, one thing I want to highlight is the fact that it was pretty much a business that you knew, but from a different stance. And I think that's really interesting that we highlight the fact that the atypical path toward different projects. So you're not an engineer, you're not a tech girl, but you do have an experience of the solution you're providing to the customer or to the investors. And I think in that sense, sometimes people in given field will have like a really A to B vision of a given situation, and coming from the outside world, like with a different experience and a different specialization or skills, you'll be able to see different things, so that will be complementary for innovation to happen. And I think that's really something that we should follow, not discredit the fact that we view something because we're not part of the, the sector of activity, or we believe that we are not trained in the way that we should be legitimate to do so. So I think I really wanted to highlight that because it's true in your situation, but I've seen this in so many entrepreneur journey of startup works real well.
Yeah, definitely. You don't have to know it. It's just, for me, it was an advantage to get the first client and understand how to build it faster. But you can learn anything. I think you can.
I heard someone saying that if you have the soft skills, so the personality, the attitude, and the vision, and the will, the rest you can learn. Any other skill can be learned. So
yeah. And once again, you don't have to know everything. Like, I don't know how to code, but I know how to say, hey, my clients want this. How can we make it happen? And when, and that's the job of my CTO to answer me. So my job, and once again, your job, if you start a business and you're the CEO, is just to find the right people. Like, it's that simple. You find the right people and you motivate them, and then you go get some money. And money, people, you mix with that.
I want to get back to the business partner, the fact that you're saying get the right people. How do you do you have any like stories or hints to share with us? Because I'm pretty sure you didn't get the perfect pick with every employee you had. There must be some story of like, oh, I don't think we should work together in the end. Like, do you want to share that without naming names? But the thing is not to point out, it's just like to share this experience of you want to be surrounded with the great people who know complementary skills, but it doesn't happen like A1 in the first time. So sometimes, right?
No, not at all. And it's pretty typical. When you start and like 3, 4, 5 years after, usually nobody's still there except you. So that's kind of normal, even with your partners. At the beginning, you're gonna go see people close to you, your friends, your family, and that's good because you need to start. But usually most of the time these people won't stick around because you grow faster than they do. The business grows faster than what they want to do. So yeah, a lot of mistakes at the beginning, like hiring technical people that are super junior and spend 6 months doing something we have to trash. So finding a CTO that was amazing building the software, but then we needed to do the hardware on it. So I need another person. And then at some point, then I have 2 people doing the same job. So I need to keep just one. So but I wouldn't be here without these people. So it's just normal that the people are gonna change, and at the beginning it's not gonna be perfect. That's normal. Like you have to fail fast. That's what they say. It's true. So we try and yeah, there's a saying like hire fast, fire fast. That's kind of
never heard
what
that.
Yeah, Sylvain Carl. I'm quoting Sylvain Carl from hire fast, fire fast. I wish I knew that at the beginning because yeah.
I've never heard of that, but we'll tag him in the video. No, I'm just kidding. I think overall, we're pretty much at the point where we're going to go into the networking session pretty soon. If there's still participants that want to share some questions, comments, whatever, maybe you want to take a look also at the project, Gabrielle's project, LuckyGo. There will be a link that will be provided in the chat as well, if not already. I want to thank you, Gabrielle. It was really a pleasure. You'll be able to get on the networking session with us as well. I think people might be shy to put some question in the chat, but might be more interested to one-on-one conversation. They'll probably have a pitch that will do either from their company or pitch themselves. So yeah, I think we'll go from there. Enaya will take over and give us a bit of an instruction toward the next step for this fireside chat series.
Well, thank you, Amélie and Gabrielle, so much. It was a pleasure chatting with you today. So as you said, we've come to the end of the chat part of today's event, but there's still networking. So first of all, I'll give a quick crash course on Hopin networking. In the past, we sent attendees away to network with little direction on what to talk about. But today we are going to give you a mission, which is to share your personal pitch. This doesn't have to be about a startup, although it can be. It's up to you. But you can share the pitch of yourself, basically. Just say, like, just let the person in the room with you know your name, your school, your program, what are your top 1 or 2 strengths, and why you attended today's event, whether it was because you're looking to be inspired, looking for a technical co-founder, looking for advice. There's no wrong answers here. It's only opportunities. So that being said, I'll let you know how you can join networking. You can go to the networking tab on the left, I think it's that side. Yeah, left side of the screen. Share your camera and audio. You'll get matched randomly with someone else in the room for about 3 minutes. And then afterwards, you get matched with someone else. It's a very fun, low effort way to meet people you wouldn't normally get the chance to chat with, especially virtually. And if the conversation isn't great, don't worry about it. It's just 3 minutes and then you'll get matched with someone else. Myself, Amélie, and Gabrielle will be there, as well as many others. So don't log off just yet and join us in networking. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, and I hope to see you all again on Thursday, November 5th at 12 p.m. Atlantic time and 12:30 Newfoundland time for Take on Tech. And for the female identifying students, we hope to see you next month on November 24th for the Women Leading Startups, also at 12 p.m. Atlantic time and 12:30 Newfoundland. See you all in networking.